What's up, guys? Welcome to the Ibendeobe podcast. I am the Alchemist, and I'm here with my co-host BamhekTV. And today we're going to be diving deep into the in-body experience, the out-of-body experience, and near-death experience. So, Bam, if you want to introduce yourself real quick, give me 1 second, guys.
Welcome everybody. Uh, hey, hey, Spacania. My name is Hector, known by BamhekTV. Hopefully, y'all are having a great day. We're experiencing a major uh, shift in consciousness where souls are hungry for um, the truth, and that's what we're here to provide, the truth to the best of our ability. So, the Ibendeobe podcast stands for the in-body experience, um, near-death experiences, and OBEs. So, we're glad to have you all, and this is the beginning of something phenomenal, in my opinion.
Yes, that is for sure. As you guys know, we are live, so if you guys can just give me a couple seconds, as this is my first time doing this, just trying to work out a couple kinks here. Sorry about this. Hold on.
Curly Soul is in already. Thank you for joining us. Beautiful weather in the UK. That's awesome. Thank you for joining us from Europe, the other side of the world. Uh, it's pretty exciting. It's great to have y'all. Truth seekers. What's up, bro? How to problem solving? What's up, brothers? You guys are doing a great job. Love y'all. Thank you. So are y'all by tuning in and having, you know, having the thirst, like all of us for knowledge and
All right. Hello. Can you hear me, Bam?
yeah, loud and clear.
Hold on. I still am having a little difficulty. 1 second, guys. Sorry about this.
So how's everyone doing? Curly Soul, you're in the U.S. Spacania, where y'all at? I know. Well, Spacania, sorry, in the UK, and then we have how to problem solving. Where you're at, brother? Where you watching us from? We wanna know, how far we are reaching. I've been having Toronto, Iowa in the house. Sherry Hall, welcome. Um, yeah,
Oh,
so yeah, we've been Philadelphia. Yeah, you got that Philly vibe for sure. I was in your Instagram checking out your stuff. Um, so yeah, we're waiting on the Alchemist. So Andre is so addicted to being out the body that he went take a nap and he was exiting while he was supposed to be getting ready for this podcast. But who blame him, right? Once you hit that out of body on the regular, you kind of don't want to be here too much.
yeah, that is true. So sorry about that, guys, but I'm back and we are good. So yeah, as Bam was saying right before this call, I took a little nap and it got a little deeper than I had anticipated, and I actually left my body, which is what I preach. I wasn't a big experience. I was just in my living room, but nonetheless, I was out. But now I'm back to tell you guys about it. So, welcome to our first installment of the Ibendeobe podcast series. On this series, myself and BamhekTV, we will be speaking on our own perceptual wisdom and insights regarding the in-body, out-of-body, and near-death experiences. Along with myself and Bam, we do plan to have guests, speakers, and in the future to discuss on their own personal experiences. We'll have experts, expert out of body travelers, um, in body experiences, meaning people that leave their body and have expertise in how to integrate these things in the physical body. Things that we are learning, how to unlock things in the physical body, and as well as interviewing other people that have had near-death experiences as well. Right, Bam? Does that sum up
Yeah,
everything pretty well?
absolutely. And the reason we want to integrate and add the NDEs is because these people, the near death experience um, state, it's also exiting the body. You know, the soul live the body fully, and because people leave suddenly, they're not expecting to exit. There's a little bit of a how you say, kind of like there's not as much clarity, but then once they get it on the on the swing of things, they have phenomenal experiences visiting different realms, and we want to have them in the channel and in the podcast so that you get a little taste of people that were actually out as well, and get you to think about what's available for you to visit out there, because that's something that we also want to bring to y'all, that mindset of exactly like the alchemist was talking about yesterday. While you're in the practice, the best thing to think about is the other side. So if you get examples of the things that you can encounter on the other side, we will definitely alleviate and help you in the exiting process, which is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and to elaborate on what Bam Heck just mentioned, when I said the best thing to do is to think about the other side while you're waiting to enter sleep paralysis. Now, I say that because when you're thinking about the other side, what you are doing is subconsciously setting the intention to leave your body. And when I say think about the other side, think about what you intend to do once you get out of your body. So you're doubling down. First, you set the intention to leave your body. And then as you're practicing, you're subconsciously training your consciousness to now you're for sure leaving your body. And now you're manifesting what you want to experience once you leave. And so that will not only help you when you are being bored during stage one, but it will also help double down that intention of yours for sure. And guys, this the out of body experience is for sure 100% near death experiences included, 100% life changing. This stuff will completely change your life, your whole perception of who you are, without a doubt, 100%. This stuff is very serious, um, and it's not to be taken lightly by any means. It is definitely life changing, and it is the most important thing that you can do for yourself in this lifetime is remembering who you are and why you are here. It will change your whole perception. You will then move with integrity and in alignment with your highest purpose. And that is another reason why we are incorporating the in body experience, because you can still do those things. You can still move in integrity, move in alignment with your highest purpose without having an out of body experience. Yes, the out of body experience may amplify that for you and bring more of a sense of clarity, but there is no reason why you can't do this now. So with that said, Bam, talk talk to us, man. How you been? How's things going for you? You know.
Well, life is wonderful on my end, and not because anything other than my manifestations. Yesterday we talked about manifestations. I heard you talk about it, people asking questions, but and I'm gonna put out a video on manifestations, but I've gotten used to making my life up. I've gotten used to in the last couple of years creating my life, right? I have challenges like everybody else, but my mind frame is I dictate my reality. Consciousness dictates the universe. So if I decide that today is going to be a great day, I can lose a half a leg in the process. And guess what? We had a good day. So that when you take your power back, right, and you start commanding your space, uh, your situations, and it's not, and that's why Andre, it's also my at the OBE, and a lot of y'all are thirsty to see what's on the other side, and I don't blame you because all of us know deep inside, if you haven't had an experience yet, deep inside that there is more to this life than we have been led to believe. And when you hear us talking about our personal experiences, which are real, to me, that's more real than anything else. And I have lost people that I had relationships with just because they don't understand what I'm doing, and I'm not. I heard somebody talking about Christianity yesterday, and I wish I was live, to encourage you. I have no beef with no religion, so I'm not taking shots at any religion here. Um, but belief systems are meant to help you for a season, right? Until you learn the truth behind that belief system. Once you learn the truth behind that belief system, it's time to move on to another stage in life. And that's what's happening to a lot of people now. They're like, this religion shit is just there's no power behind it. There's no personal experience. Like Andrew was saying yesterday, we're telling you this is what is going down from my experience, and can nobody tell me otherwise because nothing trumps personal experience. So when we're here telling you, look, I just took a nap and I exited, I was chilling in my living room. That's a fact. Your body's laying there and you're out of the body. When I tell you I seen this version of me in a heavenly realm and I'm trying to duplicate that as best as I can in my daily life, I'm not just saying that. There's witnesses to that, and they also want to follow, including my significant other. We haven't had, we got a lot of, we've had a lot of challenges. 7 years together, but it took me becoming the best IBE example that I could, right? And that a lot of that came from seeing myself on the other side. I'm like, oh shit, it's time to tighten up. And I did that, and now she's having her own OBEs, and she's been to places where I haven't been, and she had guide her to go do soul work on souls that needed that and her own self healing, and she's a completely different person. So we're not just talking entertainment here. We're talking about life altering lifestyle. This thing that we do is just to expand the knowledge and the consciousness of the whole. Because if you grow, I grow. If you gain more knowledge, then you'll spread more knowledge with your example. And that's what I'm so excited about doing this. I work hard for my money. This is not about having a million subscribers so that I can live off of it. If that comes, great, but we want to have million subscribers so that the great work keeps expanding. And I know that a lot of y'all, a lot of y'all say thank you for your work, thank you for your work, and no, thank you for taking these lessons and putting them to practice. Because when we all come together in one thought, which is what we are, regardless of all our individuality, we are all part of one same thing, which is unconditional love. And when we come together in one thought of cooperation, not looking at what's wrong with the other person, and not, and there is no judgment in unconditional love. So you can't have it both ways. You can't judge your neighbor and at the same time talk unconditional love. So I'm super excited to have this. My focus is the IBE. Andres is definitely the OBE, and he's a pro at the IBE as well. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. So you want to live in the highest integrity possible. So um, we're very excited for this, guys, and this is just the beginning of something marvelous. And y'all help us with sharing and you know telling people about what we're doing. That'll help a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for that, Bam. And to touch on what Bam was talking about, the mindset, right? The mindset. When he says that I'm a creator being because consciousness dictates the universe, that is the most powerful mindset that you need to have when you do this type of work. That is both applicable in both the out of body state as well as the in body state. Once you realize, once your consciousness shifts from believing that, oh, all of this stuff is happening to me, to believing that you are truly the creator of your entire universe in this life now. And that will also transverse into the out of body experience. That is the major threshold to overcoming fear. Because once you understand you are the creator of your universe and you start doing things within your personal life that reflect that, such as demanding something, going a certain path, and then the universe literally bending to you to make that path accessible for you, you then start to really believe and know within your physical body that, hey, I really am a creator being. I really am the most powerful. The will of my soul really is the most powerful source in the universe. And then you take that and you transverse that into the out of body state, you will have no fear because you will already have applied that in your life. And that is one of the major reasons why I preach and I try to direct you guys to check out Darius J. Wright's website, check out his mission statement, see if it resonates with you at all. I know many of you have, but if you have not, I highly suggest doing that, because with that, it is not just about how to achieve the out of body state, but it is also the mindset that you need to have. And it is the ultimate truth here. I have never heard this man say one thing that I have not been able to verify out of my body or in my body with my own experience. Um, and I know that the same will be true for you as well, truly. Um, so heck, um, I know we may have some viewers here um, who have never, heard you or have never heard me, and vice versa, right? So let's give the viewers some of our background and experiences. What are some of what led you to this journey, Bam? What brought you to the out of body state?
So I um I wish I could start from the beginning at with no knowledge of who I was, right? I wish I could tell you that start the story like that, but I know for a fact that I came here for this mission. So through life, I always had encounters with the unknown. From the time I was a little kid in my house, I seen light beings, angels in every door in my house. And I told my mom when I was 2, 3 years old that, and she reminded me of that. And then boom, I remembered. So, I've been, uh, I lived a criminal lifestyle, and many times I faced death. from shooting, stabbings, overdoses, my own recklessness, you name it. I kissed death so many times, and being here still, it's kind of like a miracle, you know. Even so, you know, bouts with suicide and you name it. You know, I just been I had a very rich life, to say the least, and but I became aware back in the early 2000s, back in, you know. So we're talking about many years of straight up awareness, and within that time I went to prison for almost 6 years. Got married and divorced, went through mental health issues, addictions, bankruptcy, you name it. And I was already aware. You know what I mean? I was already thinking about, you know, about the being inside me. Not, you know, I was aware of that being inside me, that soul, and now I know its name. From the other side, I know my true name. I know how early I have been in this whole creation, but what led me to the out of body state, and once I started exiting and I found Darius, I realized that the universe is pushing me towards that. Since when I was in prison, I was I got into a lot of trouble because I never followed the rules, right? I always been I never been down for control. The control system's never done it for me. From my parents to church to authority to teachers, I always have trouble with authority, and now I understand why. You know, I understand that I always been a free soul, and you know, they put me in a place where I wasn't as free. You know, my body wasn't as free, so I always had problems with authority, and I still do, because you know, I know. But you know, obviously I'm a mature man now, so I don't do, you know, I also take care of my responsibilities. So there's things that we need to abide by in order to have the, you know, the highest level of integrity. But when I was in prison, I got a lot into trouble, and I was in segregation, and I had stopped believing in God, right? And the guy, and I see God completely different now, but I'm gonna use God just for conversation's sake. So I had believed on and you know, in that, in God, period. So I was pretty hopeless at that time, and I was pretty, it's dark times, right? So the guy next to me, he hit the cell like wall, boom, 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 stick walls in segregation. You just hear a little, you know, you just hear it faintly, and you know he's trying to get your attention. So when I get by the door, he tells me, "Hey man, I need you to pray for me," and I didn't even let him finish. I said, "Well, pray what, man? Pray to whom? You know, that shit is not real." And as soon as the words were hadn't even come out of my mouth, and I just started crying desperately, like I couldn't hold it in. My cellmate was there. He was a very devout Muslim, and he was always trying to get me to, you know, to believe in God, and you know, and he just started looking at me and smiling. It's like, you fucking with the wrong thing. And I said, you know, God, if you exist, and this was a prayer that you heard it many times, but I said it inside myself. I said, if you exist, I don't want to learn from anybody else. I want to to find my own way. I want you to lead me in the right direction. And boy, was that a prayer! It was heard and it's answered, because I started sitting quiet. All of a sudden, I started to find silence in the midst of the noise. And one day I was meditating, and I heard a whisper, clear as day, that told me hemisync. Hemisync? What the fuck is that? I got no point of reference to what hemisync is. And but I heard it clearly, and I wrote it. I can find that notebook from prison,
Mhm.
and I wrote it in that notebook. and I say when I go home, I'm gonna look that shit up. What the fuck is Hennessy? But I didn't have to because as soon as I get out of segregation, I go to a behavior modification class, and on the last day, I'll find it and show it to y'all later because these are my prison notebooks. So I used to write music, write notes and stuff. But um, the on the last day of that behavior modification class, the ladies had a one of it was one of their birthdays, and the one lady gave the other lady a book for a gift, and I stayed. The next class was optional. It was gonna be like a little um, talent show. The inmates were gonna say a poem or whatever. But that was the last class, and I wasn't gonna go to the talent show shit. And so they had that, but she passed the book, and what is that? Because I enjoy reading, and it was a book about a proof of heaven. I got it somewhere around here too. Right here by Eben Alexander, and that was about an NDE. So proof of heaven. So at the end of that book, this gentleman talk about hemisync, guys. So now I still hadn't put two and two together. I didn't know that you can exit your body at will. But I came home after, really working on my character while I was in there. Got a diploma on business administration. Ended up, running a therapeutic community in prison. My last year, I spent it on a therapeutic community, and so I came home and started meditating and getting deep into spirituality. Had phenomenal experiences with psychedelics that now I realize is getting into places like forcefully. Now that I had a couple experiences with psychedelics, it's like we could talk about psychedelics in another episode, but I had phenomenal experiences just through meditation and seeing the synchronicity of my own creations. But last year I was in a point in life where I was kind of like I had bout with depression. I had beat that, like they say I was bipolar. I've been without taking medication for 3 years, and can nobody say I'm bipolar because I'm not. I that's not. I had success at healing myself. Um, you know, in of multiple things, and so I had this really strong depression after I had beat depression. I felt like what the fuck am I doing here? Like what the fuck am I doing here? I was going to spiritual dialogue in church, and there was just talk. I was just fucking tired of not making a difference, of just being a part of the fucking problem. I'm like, there's something inside me. I know I'm powerful. I knew it, but um so one day I was just I was struggling. I was really struggling with this stay on earth. And I wasn't suicidal or anything, but I had a lot of forks in the road. Business, I want to help people with my non-profit. I'm working on a nonprofit, and there's so many things that I want to do, and I had no direction. I really didn't have a specific direction, and that's when Darius popped on this. Kept seeing him with, even though he was popping up in the suggestions. I seen him twice, but the one time I just saw him like up with my peripheral. It was weird because it was on my phone, but it was like it wasn't right in my face. It was like a second thought, and I first time I seen Darius was on the Next Level Soul. podcast when he did that
Me
podcast.
too.
You too? That's
Yeah,
cool.
that was my first time too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's so, and
Yeah.
actually, that's the first time I watched the Next Level Soul podcast too. But that's how he came on my feed. Um, and I ate all of his info. I went through every testimonial that was available on YouTube. I watched every interview, and 2 days straight of doing that, just nonstop. It was on a weekend, that Sunday or whenever it was. I lay in my bed and started practicing with all the little tidbits that you find in the information, and I exit my body successfully, rolled off my body, and had an amazing experience. You can check out that testimonial on Darius's um, YouTube channel. If you have access to his teachings, you can also see it on his website. But you can hear the whole story there. I recounted a little bit on episode 1 on how to exit the body on the BamhekTV um, channel. But yeah, it was simply amazing. And then I kept having different experiences out of body, seeing myself, been home. I don't have as much control as Andre does right now, but and it's because of my own. Um, I guess I haven't uh, dedicated as much to feed my curiosity. You know what I mean? Like I haven't been so much of a, like, I know what I need and I go there and I get a lot out of it. But I'm definitely very motivated right now to put a lot more time to the out of body state, just because you bring so much back. But it's like I have so much going on in my life right now, just with the downloads that I have. Those who follow me know that I'm downloading an amazing script, and the title is already has been given to me, and that's something that y'all know once the book is published. But and just so many downloads that I have received from exiting, that they just enrich my life in such a way that I'm just so much more productive. I got so much more to do, such success for life. And it's just that's just a little bit about me, and that goes to show that you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be a saint, because even though I have a high level of integrity and character, I'm still a knucklehead. I'm still me. You get out of line with me, you might get smacked. And I live by unconditional love, but I still have that mentality that still, is part of Hector, because it's just, and that's something that I really want to bring to this channel, which is restructuring your thinking. Restructuring, that's something that I have been so uh, dedicated towards. So always reframing my thinking. I show y'all the other day all these books, the people that follow me, all this stuff from Joe Dispenza. Evolve your brain, breaking the habit of being yourself, becoming supernatural, is just for the IBE, helping you rewire your brain, because the brain and your belief systems is what's going to limit you. Remember, there's no true freedom with a limitation. And in this place where we live, there's this control structures that have tamed the mind, so that our belief systems keep us without recognizing and remembering who we truly are. And that's the reason we are doing what we do, to remind you that you are, in fact, a supreme soul, creator of many things, and you will have no clue until you exit how big your creations are.
That was
A
very
little bit
true.
about
Thank you.
a little bit about you now, Andre. Go ahead, shoot, baby. Let them know.
All right. First, Bamhek. I want to thank you for that. That was very heartfelt, and I'm sure it resonates with a lot of you guys as well. And that's the thing with this, right? You don't have to be. Yes, you have to be in integrity and unconditional love. That is our base frequencies. Yes, that is true. However, you don't have to hide from who you are or run from your mistakes. No, instead of that, you face those and you accept those because those mistakes are part and experiences are part of what makes you you, right? And that's what makes practicing this excellent as well from the in-body experience because when you're following religions and things like that, you're taught that you have to be a certain way, you know, which that is not the truth. Once you leave your outer body and you go to the other side, you will realize you do not have to be a certain way. You have to be you, unapologetically, authentically, you, because who you are does not change, guys. I think the same on the other side. I am the same on the other side. Well, I'm not the same. I walk a lot more seriously and things like that. But my thought process of and who I am doesn't really change. Right now we are a collection of all of our previous experiences. Right now, so right now, all of your thoughts, all of your personal reactions, that ego that everybody talks about releasing, that is all of your past experiences now, manifesting now. That is who you are. So right now you are in a sense the epitome of your all of your soul's experiences. That is essentially how that can be explained,
And
right?
let me add to that.
Um,
Let me add to that real quick. I don't mean to interrupt, but when you talk
yeah,
about who the acceptance part, that is going to be the biggest growth that you will have in the IBE and the OBE is the acceptance because you can't change what is. You can't change your past. You can't change that. So and you can't change the person next to you. So as long as you are not in a mind frame and a and a heart frame of acceptance, you cannot experience unconditional love fully because everybody's entitled to their own experiences. You don't know how they're gonna get there. So when we sit on that place of expectation for others and ourselves, we are shortchanging our experience because you don't know what tomorrow brings. You don't know if we are even able to finish this podcast. So accepting what is in the moment is the best way to leave the body is accept what is while you're practicing because people are laying there all anxious to get out that they are not allowing their body to go to sleep. Just if you're thinking a lot, accept that. If you are, not, just sit at peace with what is, and you will definitely have way more success in everything because the now, everything happened right now. That's why there's no past, no present, and no future, and that's a hard concept to understand. But I want to,
hold on, heck. I see Beyond the Frequency 369 podcast jumped in. Thank you,
yes,
Caesar.
sir.
We
I don't
appreciate
see
you, my
where's
guy.
Caesar. Where's Caesar?
He just commented. And guys, if you guys don't know, Beyond the Frequency 369 is another podcast channel. Hector has an interview on there already. You guys go check that out. He's on Beyond the Frequency 369. And me and Hector have a joint interview on Beyond the Frequency 369 that will also be released as well. And that's another great episode. Caesar's a great podcast host. He's very professional, does things excellent. I suggest you guys go check that out and dive deeper into these topics as well.
Yeah, also another part of the puzzle, doing the great work, man. He's just doing it. Check out his interviews. is, it's definitely, we're in this together, and this is just the beginning of a great movement, and all of y'all are part of that, because without y'all watching us, without your support, like, we'll be talking to ourselves. So just take this, and I'll let Andre get onto, introducing himself for the guys that don't know him, and on my end of things. But um we want this to be global, not and I said it before and I'll say it again. The more people that we get to reach, the more manifestations we'll see, because when cooperation happen, we're going to multiply and continue to to do the great work. So y'all are doing the great work too. Just use it. Something that came through in this download is about depth, right? A lot of times you hear some information and you take it like any other piece of entertainment, you forget about it. But if there's something that you hear us say, go deep, go deep. Don't stay in the surface. Have your own experience. Like Andre was telling me the other day, man, all you need to do is be more dedicated to the craft. Like he was at some point. He said, I laid there bored for many days, just laying there bored, nothing happening. But like anything else is in life, if you dedicate yourself, you really want to exit, you already exit. All you need to do is, if you really want to remember when you exit, dedicate to learning how to keep your consciousness aware. You want to learn anything that we're saying, dedicate to that truth, that ring truth in your heart, and go deep in it. Seek wisdom where it may be found. So I just wanted to add that. Go ahead, Andre. Get him.
All right, guys. Yeah, yeah. So thank you for that, Bam. I appreciate that. So a little bit of background story for those of you that may have not ever watched me or heard of me, based on and you guys just follow Bam Heck. Um, my name is Alchemist, and I have been. Um, my journey started many, many years ago. I had always questioned, the world around me, much like Bam Heck. If somebody told me something was a certain way, I'd say why. I remember being 4 and 5 years old, thinking to myself, I can't trust my family. Like I didn't see them grow up. How do I know for a fact that adults or grown-ups aren't just some fucking conspiracy and that they're old, right? Like that's just how I was thinking. Like I didn't see you guys grow up with my own eyes, so I don't believe it, right? So that
Crazy
was
for a
always,
4-year-old.
yeah. I was like, I don't believe this because I didn't see it. Um, that was kind of my mindset throughout my whole life, right? And then as I got older, as I was an adult, um, I had my own battles too, just like Bam Heck. I had near death experiences. I've died and came back. Addictions, fought, you know, relationship issues, a lot of things. Same as Bam Heck, right? But along that journey as well, I always knew there was always this knowing within me, right? And I spent a long time searching for spiritual practices, right? I got into manifestation, meditation. I was searching for people that had glimpses of the other side, right? And I was I got into astral projection. I spent years practicing that. Now, when I have a very strong mind. So whenever I do something, I do it to the extreme and I master it, right? So that's what I did with astral projection at first. I mastered it. It took me about 30 days and of practicing every day, and I was able to do it within, a couple minutes. Um, and then, but even there, it still wasn't like that was the all knowing truth, right? It still didn't resonate with me. It still didn't hit me as hard home as when I found Darius, right? Um, And I say that because people like Matthias De Stefano, who talk about the other side, and he says he remembers his past lives, people like Dolores Cannon and stuff, they talk about these things, but they don't teach you how to do it for yourself, right? How do you see it for yourself? How do you know this is true? Because unless you experience it for yourself, it's just coming from the words of another man, right? So then my mom passed away. My mom passed away April 2023. And when my mom passed away, I was experiencing sleep paralysis every night. Every night I was experiencing sleep paralysis. And this, I was already astral projecting and, out of my body that way. But as soon as she passed, I started experiencing sleep paralysis every night. And, I would always shut it down because I would be scared, right? I didn't know what it was. And that is when I found Darius, and I found him in a similar way that BamhekTV did. I was on YouTube looking for things, and I seen Darius the same way he did. I seen him pop up. I'm like, nah, I don't want to watch that guy. It seems that's not like what I'm into. And then I seen him again, and I gave him a chance on Next Level Soul podcast. The first one he did two. This was the first one, and I seen that one. And man, that's the day my life changed. That is the day my life changed. I went home. Everything he said resonated with me so well. He was talking about things like sleep paralysis, all the truths from the other side. And when I heard him speak, it was a deep remembrance in me. And it like really awoke something within me. Right. And then what resonated me most with him is he wasn't just telling me these things. He wasn't just telling me that he leaves his body, he goes to the other side, he sees all these things, all of these unbreakable truths of the universe. He was also telling me that he can teach me how to do it too. So that's all I need to know is, oh, there's a way that I can do this too. Okay, bet. So I instantly went home that same day I seen his interview. I bought his course, and from that day on, I spent every day for the next 3 months mastering the out of body state. And when I say that, I say I was literally practicing Darius's method every day for 3 months. And when I was practicing his method every day for 3 months, I wasn't always successful. I was already having experiences, so I was pretty much successful immediately. But to do it the whole process from start to finish, the whole way, took me about to really gain control and to do it at will. Took me a couple weeks. I don't remember exactly, but it did take some time. But I did practice every day, and eventually it came to a point where I gained control of it. Probably around week 6, week 7, I ended up gaining control of it. And then from there, I started leaving my body, 3-4 times a week successfully. I was still practicing every day, but I was only successfully achieving it about 3-4 times a week. And when I say I was achieving it 3-4 times a week, they were small experiences. I'd leave my body, I'd jump on the side of my bed, I'd see my physical body. I'm like, okay, I really exist outside of here. Then I'd leave my body, I'd touch my floor, I'd feel it. I'm like, okay, this really does feel real. Maybe this guy's really telling me the truth, And then from there, and then I had some experiences where I'd hop out. I'd see my wife's thought forms at the time. I'd see, that's when a seraphim came to visit me for the first time. All of these experiences, I talk about this on, you can find this testimonial on Darius J. Wright's YouTube. It's like testimonial 39 or something like that. That's around this time when we recorded that was around this time when I was practicing every day for 3 months. Actually, it was a little bit after that. But yeah, it was maybe like last, I don't know, we recorded it last year sometime. But yeah, that was a very, very good time for me. So in those 3 months, that is the 3 months where I really fine tuned my skills. I experienced every sensation through the out of body state, the whole exiting process, and I worked on gaining control of myself in the out of body state. Because at this time, I was like, man, I was hearing all these people going all these places, doing all of these things, and I couldn't do that. I could just leave my body, but like I didn't know how to stay out. I didn't know how to go places. I didn't know how to do any of that. But I did learn how to successfully leave my body in that time. And then from there, it was literally just, and then from there, it was literally just a matter of me continuing to do the work, me continuing to try to leave my body. So as I would continue to try to leave my body, I soon started gaining control. So I had already mastered the exiting process. So then I spent, maybe a couple more months mastering how to gain control in the out of body state and go to these different places. What am I really seeing here? Where am I going? Um, so yeah, that was a very, very good time as well. And that was when I had my first big experience, where I went to this place called Neo Soul, and I seen a couple different lifetimes of mine, like three of them, and I experienced that. I actually seen the entire construct. It was presented to me as levels, like each realm was a level, and then it was presented to me as realm one, which was the realm I was going back to, was just this little bubble, and they were telling me everything that you think space, galaxies, um, every thought that you have had as Andre is based on this one little bubble. And I was like, wow, because I was just out of this bubble. I just seen about 12 other of these bubbles. And everything that I know was just confined to realm one. That blew my mind. And from that experience, I was hooked. That's what did it for me, man. And after that, then it stopped becoming a chore. Then doing the out of body experience and practicing that, then it stopped becoming a chore. And that was when I came back in my physical body, and that is when ability started to come back to me. That is when remembrance started to come back to me. That is when I started remembering and being tapped into the other side at all times. That was the first time I was ever able to tap into a potential future while in the physical body. That was the first time I could ever put my hand on somebody and touch them and feel what's going on inside of their body. I could actually, I don't want to say this word because it sounds like weird or corny, but like I could literally heal them like with my touch immediately after leaving, right? Um, it was very, very humbling. And then so from there it stopped becoming a chore. Leaving my body stopped becoming a chore, and it started to become something that I just wanted to do. And I downloaded information for weeks after that. And then after that, I started having big experience after big experience, right? Then I started to figure out, okay, now I can go through my mirror. That's okay, cool. Now how can I get out and go other places if I'm just walking down the street? If I just open up my door, can I command to go somewhere when I just open up my door? Just really trying to figure this out and take it to the max, right? And then it became time. I was having all these experiences, and I remembered who I am and why I'm here. And then I had to bring these things and apply them into my physical life. That is when I restructured and relocated my entire life. Um, this resulted in me, and not saying that this is what you guys have to do or anything. This is just me. I had to leave, my marriage that I was in, that no longer was applicable to me. I moved out. I relocated, um, so I can do this. So I can dedicate my time to leaving the out of body state, practicing my craft, and receiving information and then relaying it back to you guys. Um, So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. Now I've been here for coming up on 6 months. I made that jump maybe 6 months ago, maybe 5 months ago, 6 months ago. I made that jump and switched up my entire life to dedicate to this. Um, and once you're entering your soul, guys, your memories do start to come back. Whatever at that point, whatever question you ask, the answers shall appear for sure. So if you are out of your body at that time and you ask, show me why I came here. Show me what I was doing before I came to Earth. Show me who I am outside of all of this. You will see. You will get those answers. Those answers will be presented to you. That is probably easier to find out who you are. It's probably easier than trying to go to the halls of a mentee or trying to go somewhere else. Because once you command those things, show me, the universe is going to bend and it's going to show you. Um, so that is a little bit about my journey, and I want to touch on some other things that Bam Heck shared. Before I did. Um, he mentioned that he doesn't have as much control over it as I do, and I just want to say, and this is for anybody that's practicing. Um, all I did, guys, all I did was try every night. That is it. I am no different than anybody else. All I did was try to do this every night. Um, that's it, and dedicate myself to it, and that's it. That's really all it is. It's really a muscle. It's our natural birthright to access these things. It truly is. So if it's your natural birthright, claim it, right? For me, my mindset was, oh, I'm an empowered soul. The other side is real. Like every religion, every spiritual leader ever in all of existence was talking about the other side and how to get there, but nobody's ever seen it. And then, you have a guy that's telling you, yo, I go to the other side. I actually see these things. And guess what? You can too. I'm like, what? This is crazy. So I do it. And I got hooked, man. So if you can go to church every Sunday, you can practice the OBE state every week at least, every whatever, because this is the ultimate truth. This is the stuff that the Bible was written on. This is the stuff Jesus was preaching. Jesus came to tell you guys exactly what I'm telling you guys, that we are empowered souls, that we have all these abilities within us. The kingdoms of heaven are within us. This is the same thing that he was really preaching. He wasn't the only one. This is the same stuff that a lot of those, ascended masters, we can call them. This is the same stuff that a lot of these guys were preaching. This is found in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the earliest text that we have to date. One of the quote unquote founders or real leaders of this place that laid a blueprint. The Emerald Tablets is probably the earliest blueprint on life that we have, and it's 111 people in here, Ben, and he talked about the out of body state, and people like Billy Carson, he talks about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth a lot, and he talks about space travel. But I don't think he really understands what was really going on in those Emerald Tablets. What was really going on is Thoth was leaving his body. And at that time that Thoth was talking about, these guys were bending space and time in the physical. So that it wasn't like space travel. They were literally bending space and time here in the physical. And whenever Thoth talks about traveling through space and through the cosmos, he was talking about having an out-of-body experience. So yeah, that's a little bit about what I have. What else did I have? Oh yeah, and Bam mentioned the mindset, guys, and I can't stress this enough. Your mindset is everything. Your mindset is truly everything, because when you leave your body, your thoughts do not change. So, with that said, don't you think it's important for you to have your mind and your thoughts in check now, and your belief systems? And we really place all limitations upon ourselves. Truly, I know this to be 100% true through personal experience. And if you do this, you will find this to be 100% true as well. We place all limitations upon ourselves, and it takes and when you put these limitations upon yourself for years and years and years, it's not like, oh, you just have an experience and you know this and then you come back and all of a sudden apply it. You have to then unwire your thinking for all of those years to unlock that. Everything is like a muscle here in realm one. We have to work everything out. So yes, we have all these natural abilities within us, and once you release your limitations, yes, these things can happen, but you still have to work it out as a muscle, and tap into it and practice it every day. Um, yeah, so that's what I have. Heck, so how has these out of body experiences that we've been having, that you've been having, Bam, and the OBE, how has these changed your life? How has this impacted you in a way where now you're Bam Heck?
Um, the you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So I always wanted power, and not in a domineering way that I wanted to be powerful. I always wanted power because there's a lot of need. I always had a heart for service, right? And I felt like I was really struggling with wanting to do all the things that I had in mind, all the goals, all the ambitions, everything that I always wanted to do. I was struggling with it. Like I was feeling kind of stuck, right? And once I started exiting the body, it was almost instantly my confidence just shoot up. I'm talking about it wasn't cockiness. I didn't have to prove anything to anybody. I
You
didn't.
just know. You just know.
It's a
Yeah.
knowing that, and it's because now you remember, and that's why the awaken thing. I want us to stop talking about awakening. You are, as Andre, your soul. That dude stays for days, even at sleep. His consciousness aware. So we don't sleep. Your soul doesn't need to wake up. You need to remember. You need to remember who you truly are. And when you remember, look, if I tell you all the stuff that I have on the works right now, you'll be like, how you do it? I have 5 children. I have 5 kids, and I have a specific dedicated relationship with every single one of them. I got 3 adult kids and 2 toddlers. 2 toddlers. I have a business that is successful. It's very hands-on, and I'm starting another business. I have this channel. I have a relationship with my girl, and we'll have her on the podcast. And it's a great relationship. I'm saying I'm not dropping any responsibility on any of those roles that I play in this life. And before the out of body, it was so much like I was pretty powerless because I didn't remember how much power I possessed. Period. So we're not here accidentally. Well, I'm an empowered soul. What the fuck am I doing on Earth then? Like, well, I'm gonna tell you something. There is. multiple aspects of us that doesn't necessarily live here. And we might differ, Andre and I, with this, but in my experience, there is more versions of you. Well, he visited other versions of him, so we're not. I think that we're not. We don't differ in this, but all of those versions benefit from this life that you are currently living on Earth. I'm talking about my experiences on Earth. I've come to learn the law of friction. Right, friction is how energy is created is through friction. Right. So when you realize that all the struggles and all the things that this life present are just a tool for growth, the overall picture, you become so much more powerful. Why? Because the petty shit that used to get to you doesn't anymore. You're like, no, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where there's true growth. And I used to shy away from them. I used to try to not take it as it came, but try to make it what I want it to be, force it to what I want it to be. And that's why, the my acceptance level went through the roof. Um, my compassion, the way that I see everybody else, it's like it's pure love. Like I don't even like it's you. I just don't want the division anymore. When you realize that because Andre was talking, somebody asked the difference between spirit and soul, and that's something that I also understand very clearly with the out of body. Spirit is the juice that holds it all together. It's kind of like a honey, and that is attached to the main consciousness of it all. What started everything, it's you, because you are not separate from that. Everything inside you is a part of that inside you, even in this body, even in the physical, because there's no separation to that. So when I made that connection between that spirit that holds that unconditional love, he was trying to put words to it yesterday. I remember, some of y'all wasn't on that live yesterday, but he said, I don't even know how to put it into words. And it's that spirit that holds it all together. It's expansion. It's like there, when you feel that, it's not a feeling, it's not just a butterflies. No, it's like you are fully complete. You're home. There is nothing else. There's no needs. There's no so when am I correct with that? With that, a description of love in your estimation?
You asking me? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd say.
Yeah,
Oh, when I said, how do I put the feeling of love into
yeah,
words?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That is pretty. Yeah, that's a
Pretty
good
on
way to
point.
put it.
It's more. It's
Yeah,
like it's like there. It's not so much a feeling. It's like you understand that it's all. It's everything, and everything is encompassed in that. So
that is a good way to put it, because once you realize that, then you realize that you are a part of everybody, right? So you automatically just understand, and you treat everything as an extension of yourself, right? And when you're treating everything as an extension of yourself, there is no judgment, there is no expectations. There's just grace, compassion, and understanding for everybody. So yeah, yeah, that is a good way to trigger it. Thank you.
there was great changes. Great changes. That integration of my identity on the other side. I had an experience where I, where, I have a hard time always talking about this, but it is so humbling because I am a teacher on the other side. And not only a teacher, but I'm a student. I've been in both on the other side. I apologize. I forgot to put this phone on, no disturb. I apologize. Anyway, so, I seen myself So I'm walking this path, and I have the people that live where I in my home just coming, and I have conversations with them, and we both bow, and I keep moving, and they're waiting to ask to get what I have to offer. But I've been in other situations where I'm just sitting there with my head bowed, receiving more information. So, there's levels to this. Though you are a supreme soul, there's also levels of understanding. So, the more you continue to take this life and learn all these lessons, the other versions of you are also benefiting. So, integrating my true self into this life um, helped me to set boundaries. I used to always bend over backwards for everybody else. That's one of my love languages, is acts of service. And so I do anything for anybody I love, and I noticed that the boundaries were always stretched out to benefit them. And it doesn't mean that I became selfish, but I became more focused on my own growth. And a lot of times people want to suck your energy. They want to suck you out your energy. And understanding that energy management, um what is it, love? For all of y'all that don't know Ivy, this is Ivy. Say hi, baby. What you need?
Hey,
One sec.
hey, how are
What is it,
you?
mommy? She can't hear you. What's wrong?
Can I have an ice cream sandwich?
No, absolutely not.
Please?
Did you have dinner yet?
I had, I
You
had,
haven't, right?
no, I had, the, the chicken, the, the, chicken, mashed,
Okay, if just ask mommy. Mommy knows, okay? Anyway, anyway, so can you lock the door on your way out, baby? Thank you, mama. So, just integrating my true self, and not apologizing for my wisdom. I didn't come here, to to waste time and be a pushover. No, I came here to learn and to teach. And I teach by example, and I learn by shutting the fuck up. So there is different aspects that the outer body just, I'm like, the list is just endless, you know what I mean? Just idea, like, because what happened now is that something inside you opens up, and you reach certain levels way easier. Like, you climb up in different realms super easier, and the information available there is unfiltered. There is not, it's not broadcasted by and Fox and your grandma and the pastor. No, you take it from the source, and then you decide how that translates to your day-to-day life. But you know what, I just don't want to be a hypocrite. That's one of the things
It's,
that that I got out of exiting my body. It's like, you know what, if I'm this powerful on the other side, let's go. So a lot of power, healing. Like, I have multiple instances where I heal myself and others around me without even them knowing. You don't have to tell them, "Man, I'm gonna heal you." No, I wanted that power so that I can make this experience that is already hard a little bit more bearable. So I heal myself all the time. Like, I don't even know, And if I get sick and die, it's because it was my time to go. So fear, so
heck,
courage, yo.
do you want to share how you healed your foot?
Yeah, real quick. So, so the other day I was doing a project, and it was wrapping up. So I didn't put my work boots on. I had a pair of Nikes, and I was pulling a shed down with my truck. And but the guys on my, I probably told that story because I was so excited too. So, anyways, I'm pulling this big wall from the shed, and I pull it hard, and the whole weight of it pushed me back. So, when I planted my foot, I had a nail go like yay deep. I'm talking about that bitch felt like it went through my foot, like straight up. I'm like my whole I lost my I went like ah like I screamed like a girl. That sounded too manly. I was like ah and fell on the ground. So I
Yeah,
take my
yeah,
I haven't gotten a tetanus shot in since I'm a little kid. So I take my shoe off and I'm instantly leaking and I felt it go deep AF, rusty ass nail. So I put my shoe back on, my helpers, my subs are around. It's like five guys there watching me. They're like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good," but I'm starting to feel it swell up. I'm limping. And I didn't told anyone. I just say, let's get to work. So I started envisioning my foot in great shape. I say, I'm about to go on my retreat for 30 days. I can't catch no infection. I didn't even think that far. I said I need to be well for my trip. And that night, so that's throbbing. It's getting nice and like it's hurting. I can't put no weight on my foot. And so we stayed at the weekend, and the owner came through, and she's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just got stepped on the nail, but no big deal." But it really went deep. So that night, I say, tomorrow morning, you're not even gonna be able to see the hole. There's not gonna be a hole there. That's what I said. So I fall asleep on the couch at my aunt's house by the beach. And when I wake up at 11:30, I felt like I had a golf ball because it happened right on the arch, so on the soft of the foot. And so I almost fell because I forgot, I woke up and forgot about it. It was so much swelling in it that, you know, I'm like, shit, this shit got infected. And instantly, as I heard that, I said, no, that is not going to be a hole tomorrow. And I sent Andre a picture. He could attest of it. Next morning, it was no redness around the hole. The hole was there, but it looked like it was healed. I didn't. I felt like I had like a little like a little splinter for like the next 3 days, and I forgot about it. Thank you for reminding me of that. But it completely healed. Even I know it completely healed because I was walking regular. It wasn't, felt like next morning it was almost. I don't. I was expecting to see it like closed up, and it was closed up, But I guess I didn't heal fast enough to
yeah.
not see. But I could have catch it, gangrene,
That is
whatever.
that is amazing, man. And guys, this is a perfect example of how when I say mindset is everything, it is. Now, this is a perfect example where if Bam Heck did not believe in himself and believe that he was the ultimate authority and creator of his reality, and as well as the controller of his body rather than his body controlling him, he wouldn't have been able to do that. And I can testify, I did see the picture the next day, and it was healed. It was it was healed. And that is amazing. And this goes along the way. Now, this is just one example, right? There's other examples of this can also be explained in the words that Darius says it, the will of your soul, right? His will was so strong that that's what he created. Other people in the same aspect have healed themselves from diabetes. Other people have gone from being paralyzed to being able to walk, right? Um, and these things don't always happen overnight, like in Bam Heck's case, but if you stay consistent, they will happen because we live through time here in realm one, right? So if when we're manifesting things and we're commanding things to be so, you cannot expect them to be so immediately. That's just one of the rules of realm one. We cannot escape that. So we live through time here, but we are still exercising the same muscle that we do when we're in our soul. So when we're in our soul on the other side, we have the ability, depending on what realm we're in, to create things that manifest instantly. Here, We still have that same power. It's just things take time. But if you can tap into your soul, tap into your true power, and believe in yourself no matter what, these things can still come to fruition.
And I want to add to that because that is part of the process. You didn't come to a place where you create a little more slowly by accident. No, it's because you're harnessing energy management. You're learning certain skill sets that are translating to the way you create out of the body. You're not here just torturing yourself. No, you came here to learn that which you are not. And what that experiment does is pushes the soul to another level. So embrace the times where shit is not going your way because you cannot change that instantly. You just need to accept it and you'll see how the magic starts happening. It starts happening. I promise you, like my girlfriend Kellyanne, she said I'm not even gonna get in, like it doesn't shock me anymore. She said it really doesn't shock me anymore because everything that we need and then some shows up like that. I don't promote for my business. Whenever it's time for my funds to go up, I get a call. It's a big project. It's whatever. Ideas don't. I don't sit there and go on Google looking at what's the hottest business out there. No, I knew that I had to change what I'm doing, and I just sat there and connected, and I got a great idea, and it's a business that I'm developing now. But I'm saying the fact that your manifestations are not what you want them to be shows you how much of a creator you are because you can look back and see what you're saying, what you're listening to, what you continually think of. If you focus on the lack, guess what? You will receive the lack because you're a creator. So when you realize that your today manifestation is your yesterday creation, you start treating today a little different because you want a better tomorrow, if that makes sense. So instead of focusing so much on what you haven't, like, that's why when he was talking, when Andre was talking yesterday about you know well, keep the consciousness aware, he was, people were asking questions, and he said, think about what kind of experience you want to have another on the other side. It's all, you are manufacturing your your consciousness is manufacturing your reality, so you might as well start thinking differently, and the outer body is going to help you a ton with that. But the in body, start to declutter your life from what they trying to feed you, which is fear, which is lack. This place is abundant. There's people that are going hungry tonight. It's not because there's a lack of food. There's an excess of everything in this place, but because the resources are not distributed correctly, some experience lack and others don't. But abundance is here, healing is here, power is here. So you decide if you want a piece of it by the way that you speak. The words, this right here is the most powerful thing that we have on earth. Reprogram your mind, do affirmations. Tonight, I'll be remembering when I exit the body. Tomorrow, I will have a great day. Not tomorrow, right now, I'm gonna make this day better. When you say it out loud, sometimes I'm meditating. I'm just quieting the mind. I do it a lot in the shower. And when I speak, like I'm saying something inside my brain, right? And when I speak it out, my whole body, I feel the energy in the whole room shift. Like I get goosebumps all over. I feel the power of my own words because they are in fact powerful. So, these books that people, books of wisdom, such as, or any book you name it, any book can bring wisdom. But there's a book that talks about the power of life and death being in the mouth, and that is super correct. That's on point. You command your life into existence. So Don't speak shit over your life. Stop doing that. Don't call everybody to tell them about your issues. No, go first to your soul. Go first to the place that says, you know what? I am a guy. Like I run shit. So let me figure this one out. Let me stop complaining and let me figure this one out. Let me go to the source of power, which is not far from you. It's just a different mindset. It's a different
So
mindset.
it's already within you. When Jesus said the kingdoms of heaven are within you, he meant that. They really are. So everything that we're saying, everything that we're already accessing, we have all of these within us. It is about
Correct.
remembering that we have these within us and unlocking them within us. Um, it truly is. And I see Jeanette commented, I am. Yes, that I am philosophy does apply. It truly does. But once it's hard to really understand that and believe that, when you're thinking about it from a human perspective. I remember when I was getting into things like that, it was like, yes, I believe it, but how do I really know? Right. And then that's when the out of body experience really put everything in the perspective for me. And I'm like, wow, I am.
I
um,
agree. I agree.
you know,
Nothing
yeah.
goes beyond nothing trumps personal experience. Nothing like it does. I don't care what my family members think, what the old church I used to go think when they see my videos. I don't care because it's not your experience. You're not the one who's seen all this. You're not the one who. So once you see it, you can't unsee it. You won't stop thinking about your experiences because it's your own experience, and can nothing go above that. So if you really want to, for the people on my channel, we're streaming in our own channel, but for the people on my channel, go check out the Alchemist 369. All his videos it's a lot of wisdom. And also on my channel, for the people on Andres stream, I have, if you don't have access, you don't have the money right now to, to get into Darius's teachings, at least get a mindset from us. And then, and stop thinking that you don't have it, because it always shows up. It always shows up. But we have a lot of tips and tricks to help you start doing the work. And I know you share a lot on how to do it, and I do as well. I have a tutorial if you want to check it out. And we do this because this is not, I'm so super grateful. I just messaged him today, but I'm super grateful to Darius, because he I remembered because I seen him and I practiced what he's teaching, and now I get to share it with y'all. But this is not rocket science. This is as simple as keep your awareness, your consciousness awake while your body goes to sleep, and then wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Very well said. Very well said, Heck. So I will talk about how achieving these changed my life in the in-body experience. Um, at first when I was having these out-of-body experiences, I remember after the first big one I had, because there's nothing like your first big one, guys. Like Darius talks about his Celeste experience. Like I'm going to be talking about my Neo Soul experience, because not your first big one is your first big introduction into this, and it sticks with you. Everything else after that is just like in addition to it. But after that, I was having so many revelations. I was like, no wonder why, the Bible teaches, be kind, be gracious to others, all of that. I was like, because it's so easy to do those things when you remember you are a God. Like when I came back from the out of body state and I seen the whole construct, I seen how everything was put together, and I came back into my physical body. I just had so much love within me that I wanted to give to everybody around me. Um, and, truly, and I was just walking, I was embodying that in every way, in every interaction that I had in my everyday, day to day life. I just was so nice and so kind. And I literally embodied unconditional love here in the physical. I really did for a very long time. Um, and that's really how it changed me. And then as I started having more and more experiences and remembering more and more of myself, my past experiences, um, and then when I finally found out why I really came here, um, I had to change everything around. And when Bam says that he doesn't care what people think about him, I don't either, because like I know this is the truth. And you guys will, everybody here will also know. And the people that doubt me the most are the people that will have the biggest awakening, and it's going to happen, when they pass away. So to me, ultimately, this is just the ultimate truth. And when I found out, why I came here, and I stopped and I had to take a look at my life, and I had to make a choice. I had to make a conscious decision. Do I stay down this path, or do I go in alignment with my highest good and my sole purpose? Because once you're conscious, once you know why you're here, you can't. All right. So before you awaken, before you remember who you are, you can't you can't blame somebody for doing that of which they do not know. But once you know who you are, you have to be held accountable for that. So I couldn't live with myself unless I did what I set out to do here. So with that, I made the transition to, come here and be by myself, isolate myself, work on myself, because I didn't come here for anything. I came here for a particular reason, and I'm doing that. So that's really how things changed me. And I see Spot Kanye's here. Spot Kanye, you will forever stick out in my mind based on that dance comment you said last night. Just wanted to throw that out there. Um, but yeah, that is how that changed me for
And
sure.
your decision. I remember you talking to me about it, and a lot of times when it was happening, your decision. Yeah, I want to shout out Kania too, because she's on my chat as well. And you know thank you for your kind words. But everything that we encounter is appointed. We had this story played out before us before we came here. So we met, and it wasn't by accident. So I'm glad that I helped you like
Yeah,
that. But it was your decisions that brought you here, and that's what I wanted to talk about right now, to expand on what Andrea said. Everything is going to boil down to your decision making process. Once you realize what's important to you, then the decision, and I was going through the same with my significant other. There were times where we were just, water, I mean, oil and vinegar. We were just not in the same frequency whatsoever. And I contemplated, you know, going on my own as well. But, so just to show you the contrast, I decided that it wasn't the right time. And I kept making good decision after good decision. And I'm saying Andre's decision was the right decision for him. And the fruits show. Same as me staying was the right decision for me, and the fruit shows, because it's about that decision making that follow. He could have done that, and now, oh, I'm single. Now it's time to, but not that's not what he did. He followed his one decision that was life altering with another better decision and a better decision and a better decision. And it's not that we're perfect, not by any stretch, but when you realize how important your time here is, you kind of stop playing games. You kind of stop playing games, and you take your responsibility to those that surround you completely to heart. And it's not the big things. Life is not about the big things. It's about the small decisions. Like he's saying, he have access to all of this beautiful experience because he did it one night at a time, 1 minute at a time, one beat at a time, one conversation at a time. So if you're not having the success in the practice and in life, in any aspect of your life, really do an assessment. Sit there and look at your roles in life. To my wife, I'm this, to my kids, I'm that, to my employer, I'm that, and really assess where you're at. You have to be true to yourself, because you, on the other side, and here, you can lie. You can even lie to yourself. But when you're there, you're naked. You can't hide your thoughts. You can't fake. You can't. No, 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 no. Ain't none of that shit. It's you. And like he said, the way that you used to think, you bring it. So why limit your access there and here by lying to yourself? Sit down and be honest about it. I'm honest about it. Like, I do not put as much time to the practice as I want to. But I know that. I'm not. I didn't even lie. Andre and I are friends, so I get. He knows. I tell him straight up, hey man, I'm struggling with this fear. And I'm not scared of shit. I've seen life almost been taken shot in the face with my own 45. I'll tell you that in another story. But my own gun, and dude shoot me in the face. He took it from me and shot me when I was 16 years old, and I'm still here to tell the story. So I'm not scared of anything on this life, but I have experience with stuff that scared me a little bit. And you know what? Then I
We'll,
stood my ground.
we'll save
Go ahead.
that. We'll save that. We'll save that. That won't be here. We don't. um, all right.
but I stood my ground, and that's what I want to say. When you realize that there is
Mhm.
no soul that has authority over you, you start making better decisions for you. And it's the we're not pre I'm not preaching self-centeredness. I'm speaking of coming to the full expression of your soul, and that's going to take a good decision making process. So really look at where you're at right now. Be honest to yourself, and dedicate time to the things that you find value. Yeah, but we leave that one for another for another episode.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And but what Bam Heck was talking about, guys, is in the out of body state, mindset is everything, and it is everything here, and it is everything there. And when I say mindset, I mean your overall consciousness, level of awareness, limiting beliefs, and all of that. So when you understand that you are an uncontrollable soul, and nothing can hurt, harm, or touch your soul, you will always be okay. But when I say your mindset does not change from when you leave your body to the other side, it does not. So if you don't fully believe that now, when you leave your body, you won't fully believe that then either. But when you do, and if you command it, then you'll know, right? So that's the underlying truth here, is that nothing can hurt, harm, or touch your soul. So there is never anything to be afraid of, ever. That is the underlying truth of all things. Um, yeah. So heck, I feel like this was a good conversation. What do you feel like opening it up for a live Q&A for some people?
Absolutely. Shoot.
Um, okay, guys. Unless, did you have anything else that you wanted to get into?
Just make sure that you write your question in caps so that you know, we love your comments and we're gonna engage with you. Um, but uh, yeah, write your
Yeah,
questions in caps.
yeah. Regarding the questions, guys, can we please at this time keep the chat limited to questions only? Oh, Caesar, what's up, my guy? Um, Caesar's. I, 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 I'm working with Caesar personally, so welcome, buddy. Um, and so, guys, yeah, if we can please keep the chat limited to questions only. And if you have a direct question for either myself or for Bam, just direct us in that way.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you have the people on my stream, if you have questions for Andre, please feel free and make sure you address it to him.
Caesar says he just joined. He has to share his frustration with meditated for an hour and 30 minutes and nothing, not even tingles. What do I recommend? So in that case, Caesar, I recommend um, in that case, Caesar, I recommend just focusing on relaxing more, right? If you're not experiencing tinglers or nothing and it's been happening for 90 minutes, your body hasn't begun to shut down yet. So try to slow your thoughts down a little bit and just try to relax a little bit more. Maybe you tried it too early, maybe stay up. Or in that case, maybe if you wake up in the middle of the night, try it again. You just have to relax a little bit more. Um, Isam Hankins asks, are all ETs from Realm 2, or do some exist in Realm 1? Um, yeah, so a lot of the extraterrestrials that we think of with the ships and stuff, they do come from Realm 2. However, some of them are here as well. Bob Smith asks, how many hours did it take you to OBE for the first time? He says he will give up after 2 hours, but he heard Darius say he tries for hours sometimes. So, Bam, how many hours does it take you?
Um, probably within I don't even it don't take me longer than 2 hours. Probably before 90 minutes. Um it just practice. Yeah, you have to get used to the sensations of the body because sometimes you feel like I feel rocking. That's my main thing. I feel rocking, and I kind of like get excited because I know what's on the other side, and I want to, So I was having a conversation with Andre, and he probably talked to y'all about this also. But once you start feeling your body shutting down, so the itches and stuff, and you're entering the paralysis, just let it do what it does, and that's also for Caesar. On my channel, I help a bunch of people with that as far as like helping and attain it by don't try to be where you're not. So you're not out of the body yet. Think just imagine it in your mind. But once you start like getting frustrated over not coming out or remembering the exit and the outer body, you're just doing yourself a disservice, honestly, because you're not there yet. So wait, when you get there, it's gonna be all worth it. So that frustration comes from that expectation, and I get it. It happened to me too. It happened to me more so after I already exit because you're so eager to come out, and then you're like, to me, what's excitement now? I know how to relax better into that. I got a question from Randy Fortin. Says the story of Lucifer is his story of one of a being who hates not having any power. It confused me. I really don't know the story of Lucifer. I wasn't that aware of that. But today, right? I'm not talking about in the past. Today, all of creation is in a spiral process, right? And there are times in your own story and the story of all of creation when you're higher and brighter and then darker and lower, right? It's like you're in this constant spiral of understanding. So just because a being is in a place where we don't understand doesn't mean that it's not going to come out of that state. So that's my understanding, and the downloads that I have is that because the end of this construct is um or this part of the story is very close. I in my understanding and the downloads that I've been receiving, and I had other experiences with the being that you speak of. And there, actually, I'm gonna tell you a story real quick. I was one time I was in a very deep meditative state, and I had a vision of different gifts that I brought to this experience. And when I was climbing up with wisdom, and it was given to me through animals, right? At the corner of my eye, I see this huge beast, really big, muscular, man-like figure with big horns like this. I seen it from the back, and next thing you know, I'm hugging this being. Like I jump on him, and my cheek is next to it. I remember the feeling of just hugging him like that, and I started telling him, you need to change what you're doing. I was telling him, you really need to start making better decisions, just like that. And wisdom was bringing me up and told me, just let him be. He's not. He's fulfilling his purpose, just like that. So I drop it, and I kept going up. And when I look back, this being was like malnourished on the ground with a big head sideways, and he was looking at me with a lot of pain, right? And I know what that means. To me, I don't know if that's the same being we're talking about, but a lot of these beings
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
been been.
So heck, I want to touch on that. So guys, if anybody has male intentions or anything like that out there, you understand when you're in your soul that that being is just in pain. That being is doing it to itself. It fell out of unconditional love.
Correct.
So and you understand that. So that's more so how that works. And Bam, we have the same chat, so we see the same questions.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, so we're cool. The Inexplicable says there is one thing that no one can find an answer to it: how the consciousness was created, and how. So he's basically saying how source was what created source, basically, and that is a good question, The Inexplicable, because I don't have that answer. Um, yeah, but I could. I don't even know how to find that out, but I probably could. I'm sure there's some
Me,
beings
ne-
out there
me,
that
ne-
know.
yeah, me neither. Like that. But I got a little bit on us. How. Anyways, go ahead. Go ahead. Ask the next question. I'm good.
All right, yeah. No Name says, when you're meditating, your body is asleep. Is it okay if your thoughts race? If I acknowledge them and surrender, fighting them feels counterproductive. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna think. Your mind is gonna race, right? But you just you become the observer of your thoughts, right? Somewhere along the process, you're gonna switch from being the thinker to being the observer of your thinking. Um, and well, that's what I do anyways. But at first, when I started, you still think, but naturally, when you're through the process, your brain is a part of your body, right? So your brain shuts down as well as your body, and your brain is the receiver. So that's where your thoughts are coming through. So as your body's shutting down, your brain will also enter delta state. At the time your brain enters the delta state, your thoughts are going to naturally stop coming. So it's just a matter of relaxing and not moving. And as you don't move, literally the only thing that allow the body to not shut down is literally not moving it. If you don't move your body, everything else will fall into place because your body's going to shut down naturally. It's going to throw you signals to start moving. You ignore those signals, your body will begin to shut down. And part of the body shutting down process is your thoughts will begin to slow down as well. Did you have anything to add?
Yeah, don't move. I was talking to a guy that I want to have in our podcast. Maybe not soon, but yeah, he was also in an out of body state, and he got a lot of wisdom from up there, and that's one of the main things that are gonna help you. Don't move. Once you get comfortable, once you are in the practice, don't move. Just stay still. Let it happen. It's coming.
Yeah, how to problem solve, and why are you guys doing this if not for money? Aren't you afraid to murder Lucifer, like what Jesus said? No, I'm an uncontrollable soul. I am in my ultimate authority. I'm not afraid of any being, period, um, at all. No. Um, Jay Shar, how was I able to leave my body while daydreaming? Um, I don't know, man. That there's other ways too. Were you literally physical? Um, were you literally physical in your out of body, or were you just like 100% conscious? Be a good question. Bam, did you have anything to? No, not for Jay Shar. Jeanette Renee, my remembering has taken 50 plus years, but I find more are in a quickening process. Do you find that to be true? Thoughts and why? Um, I don't know. Bam, do you have any thoughts
Can you
on this?
repeat the?
She says Jeanette Renee says her remembering has taken. She switched from awakening to remembering. That's good. Has taken 50 plus years, but I find more in a quickening process. So she's saying she feels like her awakening took longer, but she thinks she feels as if more are happening quicker.
Yeah, because remember, though we talk about the OBE a lot, your soul right now, it's braided to your physical experience, to your body. So there, with age comes also maturity. There's processes in your body. You've seen more, you experience more in this life, so you have a better handle on things. So you can't minimize your wisdom. That's you. That ego that people make it's not bad. It's the compilation of your experiences. So it's not how long it takes you to remember. It's that when you remember, you take action on those memories. So that's, I think, um the right thought to that would be like, how am I going to utilize these memories to aid in this IBE? How am I going to make this in-body experience more powerful with that remembrance? And 50, you're super young still. You got hella life to go kick some ass.
Yeah, that is very true. Very true. CC Alex 4228. There is a must to start the binaural beats between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning time. No, there's not a must, but that does help. 3 a.m. The field between here and there is lower. It's weaker, so it is easier to come out in that time. So yeah, if you're up around 2 a.m., if you've been sleeping and you wake up around 1 or 2 a.m., yeah, I would. That's a good time to start. Debelito, is there going to be an Astro boot camp soon? Um, Heck did a little 4-part tutorial on his page, as well as Darius has, tons of material, guys. If you're interested in leaving the out of body state, I highly suggest, uh, you know, checking out Darius's content. Read his, go to his website, read his mission statement, see what he's about, and check that out for sure.
Definitely his teachings. What we do is a complement to that. So definitely check out his teachings. We're not getting paid by this dude. We're just very excited about what we have attained through his teachings. So you know
And
this
pay it
this
forward.
yeah, yeah. But by the way you live your life. So what's happening is that I have access to on the chat, just letting you know, I don't see your questions. I only see the questions on my channel, but no big deal.
Are you? Oh, you don't see these questions?
I don't
I'm
see
going
your
from top to bottom because I seen the Randy Fortin one, the one that you
yeah,
asked about Lucifer.
yeah.
I seen that one.
I don't have Jay Shar or all the people and your followers. They're not on my chat, but no big deal. I have
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, I
I
thought we
have a
all had the.
question. You'll probably see it
Oh,
down the line, but it said, "What does it mean
oh,
around?" Spokania said, "What does it mean around 2 to 3 a.m. The field is weaker?" Go ahead, you answer that. You're the one who said.
oh. So at 2, 3 a.m. the field is weaker. It just is. It's easier to leave your body at that time. The same thing that it's easier for other people to come in. Um, when I say other people, I mean like other beings. That's why 3 a.m. is considered like the witching hour. Like I remember when I was little, I watched The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and it had me terrified of 3 a.m. because that's when these things would happen. But yeah, 3 a.m. It's just when the field is lower. That's the best way to put it, and it's easier for us to break the bond between our physical body and our soul. It's easier to create that separation at that time. That is a fact. Oh well, let's check out some of your comments, and Dan.
I wanna talk about. I know that I got Randy Fortin. So you guys know anything about Jesus? I do know a little bit about the guy. Jesus is not only known on earth, right? The consciousness of Yeshua, which was his right name, Jesus is also a distortion. That wasn't his name. Um, that it's a very it's an ascended master. Jesus don't only work on this realm, he's known throughout all realms. And I had visits from Yeshua directly, and his message was very simple. When if you're about to die, right, and your kids are around your bed, what do you tell them? You tell them the most important thing for you. So if you read um, what's recorded on the Bible, he said at the end, he said, God, may they be one with you like you and I are one. That was clear. Go check it out. He was trying to tell us all along. Thing is that the control systems on Earth took that powerful story that was going to wake up humanity. And you got to learn the history behind it too. He was taking all of the resources from the Roman Empire back then, so they didn't like that. So also a lot of the story of Jesus is lost. It is said that he learned.
It's not
Anyways, if you
lost. He
yeah
definitely went to ancient Egypt,
yeah, yeah,
India.
yeah,
He
yeah,
went to study
yeah,
Hinduism. A lot of
yeah,
spiritual masters. He went to basically learn what we're telling you guys.
yeah.
That the soul is limited, infinite, that you can leave it, that we are one with the source, and that we are God within us, basically. Um,
And you can anytime they were looking for him, he was meditating. He was quiet. He was probably exiting the body like we are. You know what I mean? So just do unto others like you want done unto you. If you can take that out of his story and not all of the you're a sinner, you need forgiveness. That's the only way. You'll be all right. Just follow that one golden rule. Do unto others as you like to be done unto you.
yeah, beautifully said. Beautifully said, Dan. Um, so Quantum Mac asks, entering sleep paralysis. Can you describe how you're breathing, how it feels? Yeah, I can. So right before sleep paralysis, like breathing in sleep paralysis is like pretty much the same, but for me, it's like right before you enter sleep paralysis, you're gonna feel that changing breathing. It's gonna dip, so it's gonna become a lot slower, right? And at that stage, don't be afraid, because as far as your body knows, you're sleeping. So your body doesn't even know you're awake. So your body's just doing what it naturally does, right? So just let it happen, because you, my friend, are not your body. You are not your breath. You are not any of that. So just let it do what it does and dip down. But yeah, it kind of feels like I've never felt the sensation like I ever felt like I wasn't going to breathe. And then once you enter sleep paralysis, it does feel like a weight steps on you. It does feel like everything is like you can't move. Your whole body is shutting down. Basically, it's really what it feels like. Like it's heavy. Your chest will feel heavy, and it will feel like a wave comes over you very quickly, like boom, and you're there. And I mean, yeah. And then at that point, you just relax a little bit, and then your soul will begin to leave. How to
Rand,
problem solve? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I'm saying Randy keep asking about. He asked it before. Not no shot, but Randy asked about about the weed, right? The cannabis, and I can speak of that real quick before you read your question.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I know you don't condone abusing it, but every plant, right? Every plant in creation has its medicinal purpose. So not every plant. I mean, there is a medicinal purpose to cannabis. Let's talk about cannabis, right? When you smoke it, it changes the chemistry of that plant. So, and I learned that from a shaman in South America in Colombia. You know, this guy have plants that cure cancer. If you have any pretty much any illness, you got a plant for it up there. You know, passed down from his ancestors and wisdom from the other side as well. But he's the one who told me that don't if you wanna use it, don't smoking is gonna change that. So it becomes more in my experience, I get way better results since I quit smoking weed or taking cannabis. I'm not telling you not to do it, but I definitely that 100% get way better results when I don't smoke weed. And I'm not saying it's not good for recreate. You know, do whatever you want. You're a grown person, but that's just my experience. You have anything on that, Uncle?
No, I don't. I don't smoke weed or partake in anything like that. Um, so Caesar asked, "Do we ever get frustrated?" Yeah, and I think me and Hector both agree in this aspect where frustration it comes, right? But you can't get frustrated. You have to be patient with yourself, because when you get frustrated, that will stop it. That will stop the process, right? So just stay calm, relax, and don't get mad. Even if you're trying, every night for 4 nights in a row, just don't get upset about it. Just keep trying and staying calm, and that mindset of not being frustrated and just accepting it will be okay. But yeah, frustration, it will definitely limit limit you. We got a question for both of us. Andre Bam, I feel like I'm slowly suffocating right before I'm going to hit sleep paralysis. This feeling is so uncomfortable that I can't handle it after 5 to 10 minutes, and then I give up. What to do?
Keep breathing.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Keep
Just
breathing.
push through it. If you feel like you're slowly suffocating, again, that can happen. But again, it's just your body's way of naturally shutting down, right? Our bodies naturally shut down every night. And at that point, your body believes that you are sleeping. So it's just doing what it naturally does. So I know it's easier said than done, but what you really have to do is separate yourself from your body and understand that you are not your body, and just let it do what it does. Bob Smith says, "Thank you, Bam."
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. He said he subscribed, so I just say thank you. We appreciate it. Somebody asked if you're not doing this for money about the Lucifer thing. We're not. At least to speak on that. I'm not afraid of any of that because they just, hurting souls, and my fear is not gonna help them make better decisions. But and some people are asking, if we can turn on that donate button. I didn't know that was a thing. I seen it yesterday on the Alchemist live. But I work hard for my money. But if you subscribe, if you like, if you share, that's going to help us spread the message. And we'll look in the future. We'll look into that. We'll talk about it. At least I could get paid by YouTube now. I got a message that that I can get paid, and I haven't even activated because you know
Yeah, same for me. I got that too. I just got that yesterday, actually.
good job, good job.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is an accomplishment because being able to do have that option is cool. It is a representation of hard work and in the message growing, right? But that's not what it's about at all.
There's a question about breathing here. I want to, yes, you are breathing oxygen. The body is breathing oxygen, but at a deeper level, every time you take a breath in, you're taking in everything that is. There's no empty spaces. So what occupies what it seemed to be an empty space, it really isn't. You're breathing in the substance of everything that is, and that is love, and that's what keeps us alive. That's that spirit.
Yeah. So I like KRS-One said this, and I liked it. He said, when you breathe, when you stop breathing, what's the first thing that happens? Your heart doesn't shut down. Your lung, nothing else. Your body doesn't quit on you. But what do you lose when you stop breathing? The first thing that you're going to lose is your consciousness. So he said that's what we're breathing in. We're breathing in consciousness. So that's another way to think of it. But that's a surface level explanation, but it resonated with me before I got into the out of body state. So maybe that will resonate with you guys.
That you seen that message?
What?
You'll probably get to it in a little bit, but I was just talking to Caesar about this because I since I was a little kid I envisioned it's a Chloe. Sorry, let me read the question. Chloe Bell says, Andrew and Hector, what part of the country you're in? Just wondering if you'll ever have any in-person events or talks. And you know what? That to me is a confirmation because I always envision myself speaking in front of a crowd. Like I had visions of that when I was a little kid, and I always thought it was gonna be preaching because my family was so religious, and my mom's like, "Yeah, you're gonna be a pastor." But yes, I think that if as you continue to subscribe and share, and this movement grows, we'll definitely be speaking. Absolutely, at least for Bam, it's a big yes, and I can't wait for that to be my lifestyle, going out there and speaking these truths in front of millions and millions of people. So yeah, so I am uh in the eastern side of the United States in North Carolina.
I am out of this world.
Most of the time.
So let's see here. Are you sure we have different chats?
I just can't see your people. I can see the people on my
Oh, only if they're subscribed to us, we can see them.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
everybody,
If that's the case, guys, subscribe to both channels. Subscribe to BamhekTV and subscribe to the Alchemist 369 for sure.
yeah.
For sure. So where are we? So I got Deblito says there was a Reddit now inactive where people gathered and projected remote view together and had epic battles. Yeah, you can do that as well. But that's more astral projecting. That's not out of body. when I was astral projecting, I actually left and I was like in a game, like a battlefield. Like I couldn't really move. It was like a cross between astral projection and out of body state. This was in that 3 months when I was practicing. I literally left my body. I couldn't really move, but I could fly. So I flew through my roof and I landed outside. And as I'm outside, the bushes literally looked like a video game. And then I land on like this battlefield and there's like all these people shooting and running around. It was like I was literally in a game of Call of Duty. And yeah, I don't know what was going on, but it looked like some astral type of game that people were playing or something. And I don't know, but I entered it. um,
Yeah, don't take this life too seriously because yeah, do. But also, this is a school. This is a school. This is not a courtroom where you're gonna be judged on everything you say, do, and think. You judge yourself. So make sure that you live in integrity, but have fun with life. Don't be so uptight in life. Go ahead, bro. I'm
yeah,
sorry. I
yeah,
just
for sure, for sure. Good point. So inexplicable, Lars. Oh, that's not a question. Gabriel, how to exit and enter sleep paralysis, and how to astral project during sleep paralysis. Okay, so you're not going to astral project during sleep paralysis. But how to enter sleep paralysis is you literally lay still in your bed until your body shuts down to the point that it enters sleep paralysis, right? Um, Darius explains that process very well in his website and in his ADA method. If you want, further details on that, I would highly suggest checking that out. He breaks it down very well in a 4 protocol way for sure. But once you enter sleep paralysis, um, you don't do anything. You literally don't do anything. You just wait, and eventually you will feel yourself separate because this happens naturally. So there's nothing that you need to do. There's literally nothing you need to do in this process besides just lay there the whole time. That's all you guys need to do is just lay there the whole time. And then eventually, when you lay there long enough, you will enter sleep paralysis and you will feel your body separate. For me, oftentimes it feels like I feels like I am literally floating up from my body. Sometimes it feels like I'm sliding. Sometimes I get that rocking feeling like Hex says. Sometimes it feels like I'm going down. Other times I'm literally above my body just doing like these spins. But at that point, as soon as you feel yourself separate from your body, and you can tell it's your soul because your physical body is not going to be floating, right? So as soon as you feel yourself floating, like you're out, your physical body's not floating, right? So at that point, get up and move. And when you move as if you are moving your physical body. That's how we move. Like you're not doing it with your mind. You literally have to move.
also if you fall asleep, right? That it doesn't mean it's over. It doesn't mean that the
No.
experience finished because what you might feel like you feel like you might lose consciousness for a minute and you're out. You could be out. So don't just create that
Yeah.
expectation that you will remember when you exit. So and then if you're in a dream like I do, gain full control. That's also a technique. Gain full control. You can once you realize you're in a dream, look at your hands and once you start looking at your hands, you're gonna come into full. Not well, not necessarily, but that's another technique. I had touched a
Yeah.
wall. I didn't want to be in a dream, and I'm like, I don't want to be with this dude here. I touch a wall, and it sounded like a bubble, like I was out of there. And now I'm walking, and I had a great
I
experience.
knew somebody I was talking to could break out of because I just did a video where I said it's very hard to break out of a dream. So guys, if you've seen my last video, I talk about, when you're in a dream state, you look at your hands, you bring yourself fully there, you can command things. But I said it's very hard to break out, but you did break out, Bam. So can you explain that?
Yeah. So when you're in a dream, right? Like people say, well, how do when you're in a nightmare, right? Don't you wake up? If you're in a nightmare and you wake up, there was a second where you took control of that dream and just came back to the body, right? So instead of waking up, just sit that sit there still for a little bit, like for a second. It's I really don't know how it is that you become aware of the dream, but I have been aware of the dream. So once I realize that I'm in the dream, what I do is I focus on something. For example, that's the perfect example. I was in with these in these space. I was in this space that, and it was probably a dimensional space, right? And I didn't like what was happening there. I was just uncomfortable. I really don't even remember what was happening, but I knew that I didn't want to be in that space. And I realized that, and I looked at a wall and I moved towards the wall and I pushed it. When I pushed the wall, like I literally heard the bubble. It was like, and I'm in a path, and I started walking that path. So you can look at your, and that path was a beautiful place. And I open a door and I enter another place, and I talk about that. That's actually when I met this other race that told me, what they told me, that, but you just take it, like, gain consciousness. That means become aware of what's happening. So next time you feel like you want to get out of it, just sit still. There's nothing. That's your own dimensional space. Whatever, all these fear-based stuff. I mean, nightmares that you want to wake up from. Don't wake up. Just, instead of deciding to wake up, because that split second where you decide to wake up, you gaining control. So look at your hands. Don't look at what's happening around there. Lift up your hands and look at it. And once you do that, you'll realize that, oh shit, I can gain control over this. And then the experience, depending on what you command, will, or the actions that you take, will take you to a different place. So yeah, I have exit dreams, multiple dreams actually.
So you exited it just by touching something, and it would say, so you set your intention to exit it, and then you touch something, and then
Yeah,
it popped.
yeah. I said I don't want to be here. I remember saying I don't like the feeling that I was getting in the dream. I didn't like, and I said I don't like this, and I moved to the wall. And when I moved to the wall, and I was somewhere else.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful technique.
Let me get some cut. I'm getting some
All
snuggles.
right. All right, guys. And guys, we're not going to be able to go through all of these questions today, as Bam has a family to attend to, and I actually have some engineering schoolwork to do. So, as bad as we want this to be our full-time lives, we do have other responsibilities as well. But yeah, let's answer a couple more for him, Bam, and then we'll get out of here. We'll let you enjoy your family.
Let's do it.
So
Let's do it.
L King says, this is a good one, guys. L King asks, how did we get over our fears? Because this is the number one thing that stops people from leaving their body, right? Is fear. So I'll say how I overcame my fear. Immediately when I was experiencing sleep paralysis and I would feel like I was getting sucked out of my body, I would be scared because I didn't know where I was going. That was the first fear I had. Like, where am I going to go? And then after that, when I found Darius, he was telling me where I was going to go. So I was like, oh, okay. So I overcame that. And then there was still the fear of beings and stuff. But what helped me overcome that was listening to Darius and believing him fully. Like, because if he's telling me, right, you gotta think, when a man is telling you something, but then he's also telling you that you can go and experience it, why would you not believe that man? Because you're going to experience it for yourself. So if what he's saying is not true, you're going to find out. And then everything that man said is not going to be true. So when I figured that out, I put my full belief in what he was saying. So when things like, we are uncontrollable souls, we are our ultimate authority, nothing can hurt, harm, or touch the soul. As long as you believe that with all of your being, you will be okay. And you can take it from me, because I do this all the time. Nothing can hurt you, nothing can touch you. There's nothing to be afraid of as you create your own reality. You are your ultimate authority. That is so true. And once you experience this for yourself, what I'm saying will no longer become a belief. It will then become a knowing. That's how I did it. Did
Yeah,
you have?
I have something on fear, and and this comes from. Anyways, you cannot experience courage without fear, right? So fears are a natural process of this humanity, right? Like that's the way we made it through evolution, right? Let's use that for argument's sake, right? So your brain, it's going to take the unknown and saying, oh shit, I may die. So therefore I have to, so it's cortisol. Let's put it like that. It's cortisol that's being released. And it's a function that we don't need anymore. We don't need cortisol um all the time. Like, a very fearful person is somebody that's got their cortisol on that those connections in the brain are releasing that. So the way that I overcame fear was facing it. All right. So sit there and see that you are in fact more courageous than you thought, right? Because you cannot avoid that aspect in life. There's the unknown. That's the thing, bro. Like you can, like I said, right now, you can get up and die. You don't know what's gonna happen the next minute. Fear is looking too far into the future. So test yourself, test your soul, test your soul. The moments where you're scared, say, let's say if this fear, let's see if this fear is real. Let's see if this fear is for real. And you're gonna find out every single time that it's not. It's manufactured up here. So you can have true freedom with a limitation, and that's what fear does. It limits you. If I really, if and that's coming from a person that grew up. I looked like I was tough. I looked like I was courageous. I looked like I had that. I was about that life. But it was all based on fear. That's why that lifestyle was destructive, because it came from a place of fear. So when you realize, test your soul. The way to overcome fear is sit there in the midst of that fear and act in spite of it. Don't let it stop you, because it's a natural process of the body until you realize that, hey, I don't need this no more. I don't need to think like this no more. So when you make those decisions to still sit there, when I exit the first time, I I thought about demons, and I thought about the devil, and I thought about all this shit, because that's part of
Me
my
too.
my programming. And you know what? I was thinking about that during that how
And you
Andre
still go.
say, and you know what I said? You know what? I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna fight him. I'm a fighter, so I'm gonna fight this motherfucker. That's what I said. And when I first of all, when I come out, that I see all this light rushing through my house, I'm like, I kept going. And when I walked outside, so they're outside my house, and I opened the door. You could check out my story. There ain't shit there to fight, because your light is so bright that you light up the
Yeah.
sky.
Yeah.
So what's to
Yeah.
fear? What's to fear? You tell me what's to fear, and I'll tell
Yeah.
you, go face it. Go face it. Go face it. If it's it talking to that girl, go talk to her, and you see the results you get. Is it going for that job? Go apply. If it's it that person that bullies you, go face them. Face your fears, and once you face your fears, you'll see how your soul reigns over all of it. A fear is a creation of your own. It's a dimensional space. It's your
Yeah.
own self telling yourself. And the thing is that the fear that you have is someone else's experience. How many times have you faced these dudes? Never. Why are you scared of? Go ahead and see if they're gonna come face you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point, Heck. And I think we're going to end it on this note because that was excellent. But to touch on that, when I first started, that triggered something in me. When I was first starting, and I was those thoughts do come. Those thoughts really do come
Yes.
as you're leaving. But do things like watch one of Darius's interviews on YouTube before you leave. That remembrance of home will come back to you. And when that remembrance of home and who you really are comes back to you, once you leave, you already know nothing can touch you. So you'll have that ultimate authority. I used to think of things like, yo, if somebody's out there, I'm just gonna make myself real big and fight these motherfuckers too. I used to have all those same thoughts. Like, like fuck it, I'll just be big and hurt these people, or if they want to hurt me, or whatever. But yeah, so that was another
Before you
thing that I
go,
went through.
before you go, real quick, the scariest that we think are the scariest, those are the ones that are going to take you somewhere else. The black hood and all these people, it's just really, really bright beings disguising themselves. Because he told me straight up, he said, look, if I take my robe off while I'm in here, all of Earth will see me. That's how bright I am. I'm like, oh shit, I get it now. You're afraid. You're afraid of something that's here to help you anyway. So there's a lot of. I had a lot of questions about the red hooded, black hooded beings. That's just a very
those are
bright being.
those are yeah, those are the best people to go with. Those are the ones that carry the most knowledge. When the seraphims come to me, they come to me like that.
Yep, there
That's
you
how
go.
they come. Yeah, so that is the most important. Well, all right, Bam, we're gonna let you go enjoy your family, man. You got a beautiful family, bro. Thank you, everybody. Are we gonna make this a weekly thing, bi-weekly, monthly? What are we gonna
No,
do?
that we definitely got to give them at least once a week, maybe twice. But if no one told you today that they love you, I love you. We'll let you know what we're doing when we're doing it. Love
All
y'all,
right,
guys.
all right, y'all. As always,
Daddy, where are you going?
you are your ultimate
Dad, where are
authority.
you going?
Nothing will ever
Where are
touch,
you
hurt,
going?
or harm your soul.
Where are you
I'm the Alchemist, and I'll see you on the other side. Love.
Bam hack us out. Love y'all, guys. They meant to be rude. I gotta play with these kids.